sitting here in this field of corpses alone. So quiet, lifeless, and well known. I am reminded of a loved one lost. Her tomb lies along the other side, covering in moss. How could God take someone so full of life? How could He take away my darling wife? Now I'm left with solitude and pain, and the cancer that killed her is the one to blame. We'll get through this, baby, I sadly said, as I held her hand beside her deathbed. It's my time to go, she remarked while tears filled her eyes. It's time for me to be with God in the heavenly skies. Some God, I thought, while trying not to cry. Some God, just let my sick wife die. I loved and cared about her more than ever. I was torn to shreds the second her eyes had closed forever. Now sitting in this graveyard with my rum-filled flask, I have these suicidal questions left to ask. What do I have left to live for when the one I loved is no more? I remember the first day we laid eyes on each other, which was on a cold Christmas day at my mother's. She worked for my mom and had no family to be with that day. I also remember the hand-knit sweater she wore that said Happy Holidays. My mother then looked at her and then at me. Suddenly she introduced her to me so benevolently.
Hi, I'm Stephanie.
My name is Brian, I managed to say, staring in her eyes. I tried so hard not to blush, but it was hard to disguise. We started talking for an hour or two, having no clue where it would lead to. Then right before dinner, we were sitting in front of the fireplace. She looked up and then back at me with a big smile on her face. Do you know what's above us? She asked with such a glow. Without a word, I looked up to discover a mistletoe. Then without hesitation, she asked,
Are you gonna kiss me?
So, are you gonna kiss me? I drew myself closer until her lips touched mine, and everything just felt so perfect and fine. Taking a sip from my flask, I read what was carved on her stone, which had said, God is my Savior, heaven is my home. I could pray to God, but I wouldn't know how, because after all this, God is dead to me now. Looking back at when we got married and how she was all in white, I don't think I could ever forget that wonderful, grateful night. Or forget the smile she displayed when she had said, I do. I could tell the feelings she had were ever so true. Oh, how I miss her so much. I miss the kindness, the love, and the warmth of her touch. I would have given my life just to save hers, or I would have dedicated everything just for a cure. After putting the flask back in my coat pocket, which was so loose, I grabbed a long rope from my back pocket to tie a noose. I have nothing left to live for now, I thought, heading to the closest tree. Nothing can never again make me feel as happy as she made me. Utterance of suicide is all that's been in my mind stalking, but of course it could be all around talking. Standing before the tree while trying to tie a rope to a steady branch, I looked back and when the cancer had made my wife drenched. The test results have come back, the doctor had announced glaring down. And now you only have a couple more months to stick around. Our worst nightmare had come true, and arguing with the doctor was all I could do.
There has to be some way to save her.
I blurted out, jumping to my feet. I wish there was a way, but it had spread too quickly. Then with grief, he looked at her, then back at me. Tears rolled down my face, and I felt so torn. When I placed my head through the news, I started again to mourn. Then, all of a sudden, I heard a beautiful voice so easy to recognize. I then opened my eyes to witness something I'd never forget. It was my wife coming towards me with her eyes so lit. "Oh God, is that really you?" I softly said. I felt the pain float away as she took the rope from my head. "Yes, it's me, honey," her ghost answered, glaring at me. "Kiss me one more time," the ghost had drawn herself to my face.
Oh, and there's
Then she added, "And there's a heaven, which is a wonderful place." I collided my lips with hers for that one last kiss, and when I opened my eyes, she was once again gone into the foggy mist.